I speak to you not as a philosopher seeking admiration, nor as a moralist asking for agreement, but as Machiavelli would speak to those who are capable of listening without illusion. Power is not a gift given to the virtuous. It is not a reward for honesty, kindness, or fairness. Power belongs to those who understand the game being played, while others argue about how the game should be played. Most people never see the board. They see only the pieces they are allowed to touch. If Machiavelli were alive today, he would not be shocked by the world. He would not be outraged by corruption, manipulation, or betrayal. He would simply observe, because human nature has not changed. Only the costumes have. The same instincts rule modern offices, relationships, governments, and social hierarchies. Fear, desire, status, and survival still dictate behavior. The difference is that today, people hide these instincts behind language like morality, transparency, and virtue. The first truth Machiavelli would make you confront is this: most people are ruled, not because they are weak, but because they refuse to see reality as it is. They cling to comforting stories. They believe good intentions protect them. They believe fairness is enforced by the universe. They believe intelligence alone guarantees victory. Machiavelli would call this blindness, not innocence. Power begins where illusion ends. The man who wishes to outsmart everyone must first outgrow the need to be liked. This is where most intelligent men fail. They want power without discomfort, influence without resistance, authority without envy. Machiavelli understood that these desires cancel each other out. To rise above others, you must accept being misunderstood by them. To control outcomes, you must accept being judged. The first law Machiavelli would teach is not about action, but perception. Never reveal the full extent of your intelligence. The world does not reward visible brilliance. It punishes it. When people believe they understand you completely, they stop fearing you. And when fear disappears, so does caution. The man who shows everything he knows invites challenge. The man who withholds invites doubt. Doubt is leverage. Those who appear smarter than everyone in the room become targets. Those who appear just enough become underestimated. Underestimation is one of the most powerful positions a man can occupy. It allows movement without resistance. It allows preparation without interference. It allows decisive action when others are unprepared. Machiavelli would tell you to let others believe they are ahead. Let them speak first. Let them display confidence. Let them reveal priorities. Silence is not passivity. Silence is surveillance. The second law follows naturally. People trust appearances more than truth. Human beings do not analyze deeply. They judge quickly. They rely on emotional shortcuts. This is why reputation often matters more than reality. A man who appears powerful will be obeyed more readily than a man who is powerful but invisible. Machiavelli would not advise you to lie recklessly. He would advise you to curate perception carefully. What people believe about you determines how they treat you long before they experience you. And once a perception solidifies, it becomes difficult to reverse. This is why first impressions, symbolic actions, and consistency matter more than explanations. Never rush to correct a misunderstanding if it benefits you. Never expose your true intentions when ambiguity protects you. Clarity is not always strength. Sometimes clarity is exposure. The third law is colder. Those who depend on morality alone will always lose to those who understand incentives. People do not act according to what they say they value. They act according to what they fear losing and what they desire gaining. Machiavelli would tell you to stop listening to moral speeches and start observing consequences. Watch who benefits from a decision, watch who stays silent, watch who suddenly becomes virtuous when power is threatened. Morality is often used as a tool to restrain others while preserving advantage. The man who confuses moral language for moral behavior becomes easy to manipulate. This does not mean abandoning ethics. It means understanding when ethics are being weaponized against you. The fourth law deepens control. Never outshine the person above you. Power hierarchies are sensitive structures. Those above you tolerate competence, but resent brilliance that threatens relevance. Machiavelli understood that envy is more dangerous than hatred. Hatred is loud. Envy is patient. If you wish to rise, make those above you feel secure. Attribute success upward. Allow them to believe they are the source of direction. Once trust is established, influence follows naturally. The man who threatens authority directly is eliminated. The man who reinforces it gains access. This law alone explains why so many capable people remain blocked while less capable ones advance. Intelligence without social awareness is sabotage. The fifth law is psychological warfare. Control the narrative before others do. Silence after accusation is interpreted as guilt. Hesitation after challenge is interpreted as weakness. Machiavelli would advise decisive framing. Speak first when necessary. Define events in your language. Once a story is accepted, facts struggle to dislodge it. This is why calm confidence outperforms emotional defense. When you react emotionally, you allow others to frame you as unstable. When you respond measuredly, you frame yourself as controlled. Perception, again, determines outcome. As these laws begin to take shape, something uncomfortable emerges. You realize that most people are not malicious, they are predictable, and predictability is exploitable. This is the foundation of Machiavellian power. Not cruelty, not chaos, understanding. The man who understands human nature stops being surprised. Surprise is weakness. Preparedness is dominance. At this stage, Machiavelli would pause, not to soften the lesson, but to deepen it. Because the laws of power are not tools you use. Occasionally, they are lenses through which you see the world permanently. Once adopted, you do not switch them off. You simply become more deliberate. You begin to notice how quickly people reveal their priorities, how easily they betray values under pressure, how often they confuse confidence with competence, how desperately they seek validation from those they envy. You are no longer playing the same game. This is only the beginning. The next laws will move beyond perception into control, timing, dependency, and silent dominance. The methods Machiavelli would use not just to survive among powerful people, but to outsmart them without ever appearing to try. If Machiavelli were standing beside you now, he would warn you of something most people never realize until it is too late. Power is rarely lost through open conflict. It is lost through miscalculation, impatience, and emotional exposure. Those who fall are not defeated by stronger opponents, but by their own inability to restrain themselves when restraint was required. The sixth law Machiavelli would enforce without mercy is this: never allow others to see you rush. Urgency is a confession. It reveals fear of loss, fear of missing out, fear of being replaced. The man who moves too quickly tells everyone around him that he lacks options. And when people sense that you lack options, they begin to dictate terms. Machiavelli understood time as a weapon. He would let others hurry, panic, negotiate against themselves. Silence stretches moments. Delay increases pressure. When you can afford to wait, you control the tempo. And the one who controls tempo controls outcomes. Even a weaker position becomes strong if it is patient. Even a strong position collapses if it is desperate. The seventh law sharpens this advantage. Force others to depend on you before you depend on them. Dependency reverses power. The moment someone needs your approval, access, or cooperation more than you need theirs, the balance shifts quietly but permanently. Machiavelli would never rush to make himself indispensable openly. He would do it subtly, by being the solution to problems others could not solve, by controlling information, by becoming the bridge that others must cross. Direct dependence breeds resentment. Indirect dependence breeds obedience. This is why Machiavelli favored systems over personalities. When people rely on a structure you control, they rarely realize they are submitting to you at all. The eighth law exposes a dangerous mistake intelligent men often make. Never confuse honesty with transparency. Honesty concerns principles. Transparency concerns exposure. Machiavelli would argue that you can be honest while remaining opaque. Revealing everything you think, feel, or plan is not virtue. It is vulnerability. Information is power only when it is unevenly distributed. The man who tells everyone everything surrenders leverage. The man who listens more than he speaks accumulates it. Machiavelli would advise you to let others empty themselves in your presence. People reveal more when they feel safe. Silence creates that illusion. And once revealed, information cannot be taken back. The ninth law is ruthless but precise. Strike reputation before striking position. Positions are defended, reputations are fragile. Machiavelli understood that a man stripped of credibility will lose allies without a single battle being fought. Doubt spreads faster than truth. Once planted, it grows on its own. This does not require lies. Often, implication is enough. Strategic silence at the right moment allows others to draw conclusions on your behalf, and conclusions reached independently are defended more fiercely than ideas imposed. The 10th law returns to emotional discipline. Never appear to enjoy power. Those who display pleasure in dominance provoke resistance. Those who appear burdened by authority invite trust. Machiavelli advised rulers to seem reluctant, measured, almost weary of command. This disarms envy and frames power as responsibility rather than indulgence. People tolerate control more easily when it appears necessary rather than desired. The man who seems to seek power is suspected. The man who seems to carry it unwillingly is accepted. The 11th law concerns alliances. Avoid aligning with those who have nothing to lose. Desperate men create chaos. Those with nothing at stake behave unpredictably. Machiavelli preferred partners who had reputations, resources, and futures to protect. Such people calculate consequences. They are cautious. They can be negotiated with. Aligning with the reckless may feel powerful in the short term, but it invites long-term instability. Power thrives on predictability. The 12th law reveals how authority is preserved. Make others believe their success depends on your survival. When people associate their advancement with your presence, they protect you instinctively. They defend you even when you are absent. Machiavelli would design environments where his removal felt dangerous, not because of fear, but because of uncertainty. This is why he emphasized institutional loyalty over personal loyalty. People betray individuals. They rarely betray systems that sustain them. The 13th law addresses conflict directly. Never fight battles that do not strengthen your position. Victory without advantage is wasted effort. Machiavelli would avoid disputes that only satisfy ego. He would ignore insults that carried no strategic weight. He would engage only when outcome improved leverage. Emotional men fight for pride. Strategic men fight for position. Silence is often more damaging than retaliation. The 14th law deepens psychological dominance. Control access to yourself. Availability lowers value. Distance elevates it. Machiavelli would never allow himself to be easily reached, easily influenced, or easily interrupted. Access becomes a privilege, not a right. When people must wait for you, they assume you are important. When they must earn attention, they respect it. Power does not shout, it schedules. The 15th law exposes a hidden vulnerability. People reveal their weaknesses when they feel superior. Machiavelli would allow opponents small victories. He would let them believe they were winning. Confidence loosens discipline. Pride invites exposure. The moment people feel safe, they become careless. Underestimation is protection. Let others think they have outplayed you until they have revealed enough for you to act decisively. The 16th law returns to fear, but with precision. Never destroy completely when you can control partially. Total destruction creates martyrs. Partial defeat creates compliance. Machiavelli understood that leaving someone with something to lose keeps them obedient. A cornered enemy fights without restraint. A dependent enemy calculates survival. Mercy, when calculated, is not weakness. It is leverage extended over time. The 17th law governs endings. Know when to disappear. Staying too long erodes mystique. Familiarity breeds contempt. Machiavelli would withdraw at peaks, not valleys. He would leave before admiration turned into resentment. Absence renews authority. Return resets hierarchy. The 18th law is subtle and lethal. Never let others see the full arc of your intention. Begin movements without revealing destinations. Let actions appear disconnected. Clarity invites resistance. Ambiguity invites delay. Delay buys time. Time creates opportunity. This is how Machiavelli would outsmart those who believe they are intelligent, by denying them a clear target. By now, you should feel the shift. These laws are not about aggression, they are about positioning. They are not about domination through force, but domination through foresight. Most men react, a few anticipate. Fewer still shape environments, so reaction becomes unnecessary. Machiavelli belonged to that final group. The remaining laws will move deeper into loyalty management, controlled fear, illusion of choice, and final authority. This is where power becomes quiet, automatic, and difficult to challenge. Those who reach this level are no longer competing. They are deciding. By now, Machiavelli would no longer be teaching you how to act. He would be teaching you how to exist among others, without ever being placed beneath them. This is where most discussions of power end, because most minds cannot tolerate what comes next. They want techniques, they want moves, they want shortcuts. Machiavelli understood that true power is not a series of actions, it is a condition. Once established, it no longer requires effort. The 19th law is where many fail permanently. Never confuse loyalty with usefulness. Loyalty is emotional. Usefulness is structural. Machiavelli trusted usefulness. People remain loyal only while loyalty benefits them. But people remain useful even when emotions change. If someone's position, income, safety, or relevance depends on you, their behavior becomes predictable. Predictability is the currency of power. This is why Machiavelli would never build his security on affection. Affection fades. He would build it on necessity. He would make himself difficult to replace, not through visibility, but through integration. When removing you creates chaos, people protect you instinctively. The 20th law refines control further. Always allow others to believe they are choosing freely. Forced obedience breeds resentment. Voluntary compliance feels empowering. Machiavelli mastered the illusion of choice. He presented options that all led to outcomes favorable to him. People defended these outcomes because they believed they had chosen them. This illusion is one of the most powerful tools in existence. When people feel autonomous, they resist less. When they feel guided, they comply willingly. True control is invisible. The 21st law is the final and most dangerous. Never seek to dominate everyone, only the environment. Men who try to control individuals exhaust themselves. Men who control structures shape behavior automatically. Machiavelli focused on systems, incentives, norms, and expectations. Once these are set, individuals fall into line without instruction. This is why the most powerful figures often appear passive. They are not inactive. They have already won. The environment does the work for them. At this stage, something irreversible happens within you. You stop reacting. You stop explaining. You stop proving. You stop chasing alignment. You begin to move quietly, deliberately, with long horizons in mind. People start adjusting around you, not because you demand it, but because resisting you feels inefficient. You are no longer trying to outsmart everyone consciously. You have simply stepped into a position where others outplay themselves. Machiavelli would now warn you of the final danger, the temptation to reveal mastery. The moment you announce control, you invite opposition. The moment you demonstrate superiority, you create enemies. The wise man allows others to believe outcomes are natural, inevitable, or accidental. He hides authorship. He lets the world credit fate, luck, or circumstance. Those who crave recognition for intelligence surrender their advantage. Those who remain unseen keep it. This is why Machiavelli has been misunderstood for centuries. People read him as cruel because they confuse realism with malice. He did not teach destruction. He taught survival among those who pretend to be virtuous while acting in self-interest. He removed fantasy from politics, relationships, and power, and in doing so, he offended those who benefit from illusion. If Machiavelli were alive today, he would not seek attention. He would not posture online. He would not argue publicly. He would build quietly. He would observe patiently. He would let others expose themselves through urgency, emotion, and pride. And when the moment came, he would already be positioned where resistance was costly and compliance felt rational. This is the final truth. Power is not seized in moments of drama, but accumulated in moments of restraint. Every time you choose silence over reaction, patience over urgency, structure over force, you move closer to that state. Most will never notice. A few will feel it. Fewer still will understand it. You no longer need to intimidate. You no longer need to convince. You no longer need to announce. You have become difficult to challenge because challenging you no longer feels worthwhile. That is how Machiavelli would outsmart everyone, not by being louder, not by being crueler, but by seeing clearly and acting only when others cannot stop him.